Hey there, I'm Katy Churchill, and today I'm going to talk about how I got into webcamming. Let's get into it. My interest in camming started when I was in university. I had a friend who was a stripper, and I used to babysit for her while she was stripping. Her kid was awesome, and she was awesome, and so one weekend, her kid's dad had him, and she was doing a fundraiser, and she asked, her strip club was running a fundraiser for something, I can't remember what it was, and she asked me if I knew anyone who would want to go, and so I gathered up a group of girlfriends, because every guy I asked if they wanted to come to a strip club with me was like, no, what? Which is weird. I mean, I asked a bunch of guys. I thought they would have been into that, but they weren't. So me and a couple of my girlfriends went to the strip club and we had a great time. And I had been, shall we say, staring at a lot of boobs at that point in time. I was starting to wonder if maybe my interest in boobs was not connected to maybe a sexual interest in women. But I quite enjoyed myself at the strip club, and not only was I like, hey, maybe I am actually like really into girls, but I was like, oh my god, I want to be a stripper. And yeah, so I auditioned on one of their open nights, and I was informed I was too skinny. Now, those of you looking at me now are like, you lying to us, bitch. But let me explain. When I was in university, I'm 5'6" tall. I was like 120 to 130 pounds, but I had no boobs. I had a butt, but because I didn't have any waist or anything, I just was quite rectangular, and then I kind of had like a little bum sort of glued on the back. It was a strange look, and I was obsessed with the fact that I didn't have boobs, but that's a whole other story about how I wound up with boobs. We'll do an FA boobs one day. Frequently asked boobs? That doesn't make any sense. FAQs, but for boobs. So I was told I was too skinny, which was a big bummer, because I really wanted to do it. I wanted to go on stage and take my clothes off and have everyone look at me. Like, something about that, like, gaze from the audience. I was like, I want that. But it wasn't in the cards at that point. So kind of later on in university, like that was I think in my second year, and then later on in university, I was like, okay, I think I'm actually into girls, but I don't really know how to deal with that. Because I didn't really get it. Like I didn't know anyone who was bisexual. I knew gay men and women, and I knew straight men and women, and so I was a little bit confused as to how I could be into guys and also be into girls. Maybe we can talk about my bisexuality in another video. I should be taking notes right now. Anyway, so I stumbled across a cam site. I think it was Brazzers at the time, which I'm sure was probably actually a white label for something, but I was like, hey, they've got lots of different kinds of girls. Which they sort of didn't because it was Brazzers, but at the time I felt like if they had a chubby girl and a girl with flat chest and a girl with big boobs, then that was like a wide variety, but I digress. And so I signed up and paid for a couple cam shows. I made my username a men's name because I thought they'd be really weirded out if I was like, I'm a lady and I kind of just want to see you naked to decide if this is something I'm into. Anyway, I quite enjoyed myself watching the ladies enjoy themselves. And I thought, this seems cool. Like, this seems like something I'm interested in. But I graduated from university and got a job, a full-time job in the industry that I had my degree in. And I sort of, continued looking at porn, although, and I was not as into tube sites and stuff. I really liked cam shows, so I continued buying them because the whole porn that talks back thing was kind of my jam. Like, I really liked being able to say, oh, could you do this or could you do that? I like that personalized aspect. And so I was willing to spend money on it because there were girls that I felt were worth it. And so in kind of 2011-ish, like I graduated in 2009, and kind of 2011, 2012, I started looking into camming because I thought, well, you know, I'm too skinny to be a stripper. Oh, by this point I was too fat to be a stripper, by the way. And I had gone and auditioned again, and they said I was too fat to be a stripper. So I'd started looking into camming, and so by the end of 2011 or 2012, I had kind of decided that I couldn't do it because the industry I was working in, it would have been a problem if I had been kind of outed as a cam girl, and I'd read lots of stories on forums about girls getting outed and that kind of thing. So I decided that it wasn't something I was going to do, which was sad, and I felt like I was missing out, but at the same time, I'd kind of come to the conclusion I was going to build a career in that industry. In the kind of year between I decided that and when I actually started camming in October of 2013, I was laid off. I moved to a more expensive area. I moved overseas, and I decided that I wasn't really going to pursue a career in that industry because it had all gone to shit for me, and I had found some extremely unattractive things about said industry, and I decided that it wasn't going to be for me long term. And so I was like, well, I'd like to be a writer, or I'd like to get naked and get paid for it. Writing didn't really seem like a feasible option for me because I didn't have a portfolio, I didn't have anything to go off of, and so I started doing this part-time, evenings and weekends kind of thing. And after about a year, I realized I was enjoying it. I was making a decent amount of money at it, and I was starting to wonder why I freaking had like a vanilla job when they made me miserable and unhappy, and I was rushing home to do my second job, which was camming. And so after about a year and a half of camming, in February 2015, I decided, fuck all this shit, I'm going full-time. And so since February of 2015, I have been working full-time as a cam girl. I'm obviously not just a cam girl. I also make fetish and porn videos, custom videos. I do texting, I do phone sex. Do I do anything else? Oh, I do Snapchat. Yeah, so I love what I do now, and I do see it as a career. I am not currently going to school. I have no plans to return to my previous industry or another vanilla job at this time. I have no interest in that. I do have a great interest in doing more professional shoots, doing more content trade with other models, working into some more kind of affiliate stuff, things like that. I really love the adult entertainment industry. I am in a small and different niche of it. I'm pretty sure I'm never gonna be on stage at the AVN Awards. But yeah, so that is how I got involved in camming. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments below. I will be lurking around in there, and I'll reply to your comments as best I can. If the same people ask a lot of questions, I will add them to my FAQs video, which will be coming up in a few weeks. I don't know when I'm gonna do it, but I'll do it at some point, because there are lots of questions I get asked all the time on lots of different platforms, so I'm gonna kind of round them all up into one. Not super sexual questions, they're more questions about me, about my business, that kind of thing. And yes, I do see this as a business. I know some people object to that, but I see it as a business. It's my... So yeah, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Ask me questions in the comments below. If you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, because I'm trying to get to 100 people so that I can have an actual YouTube channel link that says like Katy Churchill or something instead of so people can find me better. Well, that's it for today, and I will see you soon. Mwah! Hey look, I look like one of those shirts with the skeleton hands. Too skinny, too fat. I couldn't win, okay? I could not win.